Write this down. It is so easy in life. Write this down. It's so easy in life right now to be successful. I almost think it's not fair. I'm like, this is too easy. I'm like, somebody give me a challenge. This is too easy. Do you know why it's easy to become successful? 2 reasons. 1, it's already mapped out for you. And if you just do what you're supposed to do, you will become successful. The second reason is why it's so easy to become successful is because there's so many people who can't do number 1. I'm like, this is cheating. This is so unfair. You're making it so easy. I want you guys to start thinking like that. Wow, it's so easy for me to be successful because all I have to do is do what I'm supposed to do to get to where I want to be. Does that make sense? It's really not that simple. No one's telling you to go and like invent something or like Google now. Like I've learned everything on Google. It's great. You don't even need anything else. So think of that mindset of being like, wow, like it's easy for me to be successful because I've got all the tools and all I have to do is what's on the action plan. That's it. All you have to do is do what you're supposed to do. It's so simple, okay? Write this down. It can be messy. Getting started is never perfect. I can be messy. Anyone ever thought that like when they start, I'm really OCD. My brother is even worse than I am. We're like OCD like freaks. So I like things to be perfect. Does everyone like things to be perfect before it's released? And then what does that do? Does that procrastinate you? Because what happens is there's no such thing as perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. So you are just delaying it coming out. So be messy with it. Do the worst presentation you've ever done. Make it rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Make it messy. Because the more mess that you do, the more mess you get to clean up. And when you clean up mess, what happens? It becomes prettier. So don't panic about like, oh, I just don't know if I'm ready. Like, what does that even mean? You're never going to be ready. You're never 100% ready for anything. You know how you get ready is by doing it. So just make it be like, I have permission to be messy. I have permission to do the worst wellness evaluation. I have permission to do the worst follow-up. But you're going to do it. Doesn't matter if it's good or if it's bad. You're going to do it. Okay? So I get to be messy. Woohoo! But this is not an excuse for Corey to leave anything around in my house because I moan at him all the time because there's bits everywhere. I'm like, move your stuff. So my house has to be tidy. Number 2, I want to talk to you guys about the power of your experiences. So I'm going to completely flip your mindset right now, and you might be feeling a little bit effed up after this and very confused, okay? But that's okay. So I've always kind of thought this. At the weekend, I was listening to somebody talk about when they go to dark times in their life and experiences, right? And her philosophy, and it's kind of the same as mine, is, I'm going through a dark time right now. I get to experience this. Have you ever thought like that? Have you ever thought like, wow, like I'm a human being and I'm getting to experience something pretty traumatic and pretty dark, right? It's almost like coming from a place of like, you are like you are like the scientist and your body and your mind is doing the action. You're kind of looking at yourself from outside. So when you're going through those dark places or like something feels a bit fuzzy that day, be like, oh, I haven't felt this before. This is something new. Okay. Not sure how I feel about that. A little bit interesting, a little bit different. I don't really feel like dancing around right now. Think about what that experience and you going there is going to do for you. Because not everybody on this planet gets to experience different things. So when you go to that place, instead of like being like, oh no, poor me, be like, oh, okay, I see what you've given me today, world. Thank you very much. Okay, let me experience this so that I know what it feels like. Now, after you've done that, you have one of two options. So the first thing that you do is when you go and feel, when you like in a sticky thing, right? You need to give yourself a time frame of when you're going to cut out of it. Anyone ever just moped for like a few days because you just moped it out? Like, I'm just going to mope this out, right? You can go like, okay, great. I'm going to go and I've got an hour where I can cry. I can ugly cry. You got snot coming out your nose, all of that stuff, right? And then you're like, okay, I've gone there and now I'm going to stop. If you like crying, go to hot yoga. No one can see you crying in there because it's full of sweat, right? You girls know what I'm talking about. So when you've gone to that place, be like, okay, no problem. So then after that time frame is cut off, where you said, okay, I've allowed myself to have those feelings, because you're allowed to feel like that. You are allowed to feel like shit sometimes, because that's natural. Then you have two things to choose from. Number one, you can be a victim. You can be a victim of it, and you go, why does this always happen to me? Oh God, it's always happening to me. This is always happening to me. Or you go, wow, this is happening, write this down, for me. This is happening for me because I need to experience this and I need to get through it so that I can help somebody else get through it one day. You can either be a victim or you can be someone of impact. You can either be a victim or you can be someone of impact. And it's the same with your attitude every day. And you're allowed to feel like shit. That's absolutely fine. But there's going to be times where you get to use your experience to give a light to somebody else. Who wants to be like the inner circle and like know what's going on, like the behind the scenes stuff? Like, who wants to be like the cool group? Who wants to be the cool group? You can raise, if you raise your hands, right? Yeah, you want to be like the inner circle, right? You want to know, like, what is that person doing? Like, how are they doing it? But how are they really doing it? Because you know that people aren't really telling you everything, right? You want to be on that inner circle, like that inner group, right? I always tried to be on the inner group, right? I always felt super left out. What I decided to do is, and what I found is that I had to become the person of the inner circle. And then all of a sudden, my own inner circle came to me. You can't sit there and go, oh, I'm just waiting for someone to come and rescue me. I'm waiting for someone to come and join my team. Because like, if I just have more team members and more people like wanted to join my team and I have more clients, then I would be okay. Anyone ever said that? I've said that too. Oh, if I just had a bigger team. No. If I just became the person that I needed to have a bigger team, then I'm going to get the bigger team. Can you change anybody in this world? Nope. Can you inspire people to want to change? Yes, but ultimately it's their decision. So if you want other people to change, you're going down a rabbit hole that's just going to keep you going forever. So if you want to be that person, if you want to be that leader, if you want to be that person on the inner circle, you have to work on yourself to be the person that people are like, wow, like I want to be like you. I want to have what you have. And you'll start to attract these freaking unbelievable people that then blow your mind on a whole nother level. I feel like this year, my mind is just constantly being broadened and made bigger. And it's because you have to step into your greatness. You can't rely on anybody else. And in those times where you're like, oh, like, it's just not working for me today. You're falling victim of it. Catch your words. Maybe you want to journal, like when you're feeling that way, like journal it and then analyze your words. It's like a really, really powerful thing. How can I be better? Write this down. How can I be better for you? Instead of asking someone for something, offer help. Hey, can I help you? Is there anything I can do that I can help you with? I've really found that that's been like a complete mindset change, when instead of going, oh, I really want this, I really want to do this, I really want you to do this, I really want this in my life, I've started to go to people and say, hey, is there anything that I can do for you? It's so fulfilling, and so much shit comes back to you, I tell you, it's crazy. So think about today, in like, you can only control you guys. Like, you guys all have the power within you. You just have untapped potential, and you haven't even gone there yet. You haven't even tapped into that. So if you guys can give, I promise you it's going to come back to you. So write that. Give. The more you give, the more you're going to get. I don't know how this universe works. I don't know what's going on up there, but something goes on when you give stuff. And something goes on when you moan and you complain. Bad shit happens. If you look at those people who are like, they're like, oh, bad stuff always happens to me. I'm like, it's because your attitude stinks. Literally stinks. Okay. It's going to be creating a sense of urgency. You have to write down your goals. You have to write down when you're going to get there. I am so particular. So in my other business, I actually have drawings of my app that I made 2 years ago. I drew it up. Well, they didn't just sit in the cupboard. When I finished drawing them, I took them to someone. They didn't sit around and wait there for a little bit. I took them to someone. And then I took them to somebody else. And I said, who can make this? I'm building a nutrition club right now. When do you want this nutrition club by? She says, probably the end of the year. I was like, what? The end of like 2018? That's already gone. We can't do that. She says, no, 2019. I was like, no, now. And it's going to be, I think we started 3 weeks ago, and it's going to be done in 10 days. The countertops go in. I ordered tables and chairs, by the way, today. I ordered a thing for everyone's goals. I've ordered this. Everything's ordered. Everything is done. And it's because I'm like, my timeline was actually like last week. That's when I actually wanted to get it done by, but apparently countertops take longer than what my timeline said, because I have no idea about anything about countertops, right? But you have to have a goal. You have to have a deadline. Do you have deadlines in your job? Who those are teachers? Do you have deadlines for your kids? The kids, when they're like, hey, they have to hit a certain level before them. Why on earth are your kids getting deadlines and you're not? That doesn't make any sense. Your deadlines are for your life. The kids' deadlines are for theirs. So anybody who's got any jobs, you've probably got a deadline that you have to reach. Why are you trying to reach a deadline for somebody that you work for, and not even a deadline for your own life? If you don't plan it, it's not going to happen. Be really strategic with your plans, with the timeline of when it's going to happen. Because if you don't plan a goal, if you don't put a deadline on it, it never happens. When Corey, if he doesn't mind me sharing, when Corey got his YouTube channel, he goes, I said, well, when's it going to be done by? Because that's what I'm like. Well, when's it done by? If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Oh, I don't know, I don't know, a couple of months. I'm like, no. We need an end date. You need an end date with everything. Otherwise, you'll just be like, blah, 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 floating around, and nothing will happen. Can't cruise if you want something. Have that sense of urgency, because when you've got this done, even if it takes you 10 years to get to the president's team, right? Making $22,000 a month. What would your life be like? Why would you want to spend your life in 10 years' time not traveling around the world or having the family you want in the house that you want, because you just didn't have a sense of urgency to go for it? Give yourself permission to go for it. Give yourself permission to go for it and to have those goals and have those deadlines. Okay, got a plan of action. So when you go to somewhere deep, enjoy that experience. I'm having this experience because I'm going to impact somebody else, and I'm not going to fall victim to it. Okay? Power of your experiences. Want to be in the inner circle? Become the inner circle first. Personal development. And then creating that sense of urgency.